All right, what is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode podcast weekly real estate tip. And on today's podcast, I want to walk you through what my 8-month journey has been like. Now that's officially been 8 full months that I've been with eXp Realty, what my experience has been like, the things I love most about it, what my results have been since I made this move, and do a deep dive into this. So I know when I first made the switch, first made the move, I created a podcast on the reasons that led me to making that decision. Then I did like a 2-month update. Now that it's been 8 official months, I want to do another update just for those of you that are maybe thinking about a move, considering joining eXp. Want to do an update so you can hear what my experience has been like, what I love most about this company, the impact it's already having on my business, my family, my life, and just do a deep dive unpack of all of this. Now, real quick before we jump in, if you are a realtor, team leader, brokerage owner, and you are considering making a move or learning more about making a move to us here at eXp, and you want to jump on a 100% confidential, 100% zero pressure Zoom call with me personally, where I can walk you through all the amazing things that eXp offers, from support, systems, tools, all of that, as well as all the things that we provide on top of what eXp offers. If you choose to partner with me at eXp, we get 100% full free access to all our coaching, training, support, mentorship, all for free at no additional cost. Answer any questions that you have. And look, at the end of that call, if you think it's a fit for you, great. If not, that's okay too. We can still be friends. You have my word on that. Everything I do is zero pressure. So if you want to schedule that call, that Zoom call with me personally, there's going to be a link below, either in the descriptions or the show notes, depending on where you're listening or where you're watching this. There'll be a link below where you can go ahead and schedule that. Okay, so let's dive on in. Now, the first thing is, after 8 months with this, because a lot of times when I'm having conversations, and once I really started unpacking and seeing what this model was. Now, it took me 10 years to be able to open up my mind. I had all these preconceived judgments of what eXp was, is, I had a closed mind to it. But once I was able to really open my mind and see the model for what it was, I had some doubts. I had some concerns because I'm like, man, this sounds too good to be true. And when I'm having conversations with a lot of other real estate agents or team leaders or broker owners, I get that comment a lot. Man, this just sounds too good to be true. I can tell you it is not. This company is legit. I'm fully drinking the Kool-Aid, if you will, for the first time in my 20 plus years. Now, with my previous brokerage I was with my first brokerage, my first 10 years, second brokerage, second 10 years. And then now I made the move to eXp. Look, I would have never said I was unhappy at my previous brokerages. When I'd get recruited, people trying to recruit me, just like that's the nature of our industry. I'm sure you're trying to get, people are trying to recruit you all the time. It's just the industry that we're in. Everybody's trying to recruit everybody, right? It's how brokerages grow. And, with that, I always say, man, I'm happy where I'm at. Got a good thing going on here. And I would never say that I was unhappy. I was happy. But now I'm truly happy. For the first time, I am fully sold on the model. I was talking with somebody the other day, a friend of mine, and he's like, hey, look, I've never heard people say that the brokerage changed my life. It was, oh, yeah, the brokerage had good support, good systems, good training, whatever. But it's like, I never heard anybody, his experience with other brokerages, anybody say, hey, insert brokerage name, it changed my life. He goes over here at XP. I hear that all the time. And I can see why that is, because this company is already massively impacting my life and changing my life for the positive, something like I've never experienced before. It's truly the first ever everyone wins brokerage I've ever seen. And look, I want to be with a brokerage that's profitable, that makes money off me. I'm okay with a brokerage making money off of me, but I want to win as well. And this is the only model that I've ever been a part of, that I've ever seen in my 20 plus years of doing this, where we all win. Everybody wins. The broker's able to win and be profitable. And again, I want a brokerage that's profitable, because guess what? If they're not profitable, you're going to walk in one day and those doors are going to be locked up, chained up. Yeah, right. Like, they need to exist. They need to make money as well. But I also want to win at the same time. It's like every brokerage I was with before, yeah, the broker owners were making tons of money. And yeah, I mean, I might be making good money, but not good money to the point where I could go have a big sellable product, or have, have true financial freedom, true time freedom, true location freedom, where this model allows us to all win together, for us to become owners in the organization, for us to truly, it's the only model that I've ever seen that allows us to truly create financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom, if that's something that's important to you. I know it's something that's extremely important to me. One of my friends, one of my mentors, always challenges his coaching clients as well as myself with this question. So I'm going to look down here. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm going to read the question to you. So I want you to ask yourself this: if you just continue doing what you are doing, what is it that you do not achieve? And after 20 years of being in this business and asking myself that question, I'm like, look, man, I haven't achieved in 20 years what I wanted to achieve. What gives me the faith that I'm going to do that in the next 20 years, unless I'm just delusional and overly optimistic? And what I mean by that is, yeah, I love transactional real estate. I love, love building a team, love working with buyers, love working with sellers. But every single month I was having to restart. And then I'm looking at this and I'm assessing this. I'm like, dude, I'm 43, been doing this 20 years. Like, I don't have an exit strategy. I'm not building up the wealth through real estate, not building up the residual income, whether I'm showing up, whether I'm selling, whether I'm on vacation. That's just, I've got, getting paid no matter what. I'm like, that's not taking place here. So no, I couldn't answer yes to that question, meaning that I would, if I continue doing what I was, doing, would I be able to achieve what I wanted to ultimately achieve? And the answer to that, and after 20 years of just, going down that path, I had to come to that realization that no. So I started looking for another vehicle that would allow me to go out there and achieve that, doing what I'm already doing. Can I also achieve what it is long term that I want to achieve? And the biggest mistake I ever made during my whole entire journey was not thinking long enough. And part of that problem is I got in the business when I was 23. In my 20s and 30s, I'm not thinking about retirement. I'm like, oh man, I got all the energy. I'm going to work forever. I'm going to crush it forever. And look, I still want to, like, until God takes away my ability to go out there and do what I do. I want to continue doing it, but I want to do it because I want to do it, not because I have to do it. In transactional real estate, if you get stuck, you just become a hamster in the wheel where you're never able to get off that damn treadmill. Maybe you sell enough till Social Security kicks in, right? And that's what most are in this work till you die plan. Yeah, right. A good friend of mine that I was having a conversation with, or not a good friend, but a friend of mine that I was having a conversation with not too long ago, has been doing this 30 years. And he said to me, he goes, Josh, I've been to a lot of agents' funerals, but I've never been to one of their retirement parties. And this model allows for all of those things. Okay, so with my experience that I've been here for 8 full months, and look, if you watch my 2 month video, some of these things, my 2 month update video, some of these things I might have talked about, but there's a difference when you're at somewhere for 2 months. You're kind of in that honeymoon phase still, but then some of those things can kind of wear off. I've been at brokerages before where a certain period of time where I got amazing support and then that kind of dwindled, didn't get the same support, didn't hear from the owners for years, whatever. That may be, not that I'm expecting to talk with the owners, but that my, day one, day 90 experience was maybe different than my 2 year experience. So with my 8 month update, here are the things that I'm just blown away with by the company. So the first thing is support. Now, this was the first thing that I was blown away by because this is what I noticed immediately out of the gate from day one of joining. I mean, I remember going to Ashley, my director of operations, my right hand, throughout my whole real estate journey, first assistant I ever hired. She's built all of this with me over the years. And I remember going to her and just being like, Ashley, like, dude, I would have never complained about the support that we had before, but man, I had never seen world-class support to this level. It was just so refreshing and so amazing that, hey, I've got this support system here that I never had before, like to the point where I've never had to wait more than 60 seconds to get the support and help that I need really on anything. You got 2,500 full-time staff members fully here to support us. Well, that's, broker support, website support, technology support, accounting support, support, it still just blows my mind. Every day when I'm having to reach out to somebody, just having that instantaneous, either be able to get somebody on the phone right away or have that instantaneous, feedback, or pretty damn instantaneous feedback. Or before, like I might have had to wait hours, right, to get the feedback or get that answer. Where here it's boom, it's like almost instantaneous. I look at 60 seconds, or if it was 2 minutes, pretty much damn instant, right? So the support is just like something I've never seen before. And what I love about the support here is because all the support staff, they're all W-2. So they're not paid they're not compensated based on our production. So previous brokers I've been with was like, okay, if you were number one, you got special love, special treatment. But if you were new or struggling, you didn't get the same love and same treatment. Over here, we all get the same love, all get the same treatment. How do I know that? You might be like, well, Josh, man, you've been in the business 20 years. You're one of the top team leaders in the country, top agents, right? Whatever, like you might have some judgments based on why I get this treatment. Well, dude, like I'm bringing on brand new agent partners fresh out of school all the time, and I get the same feedback from them, the same, they're going through the same experience. So whether you're brand new or you're number one, like we all get the same world-class support. Okay, then from there, the training is just undamn believable, right? So when I say they're training, eXp, this is separate. This is all the things, first thing I'm gonna cover with you guys are all the things eXp does, not counting the additional coaching, training, mentorship, support, coaching that we provide on top of what eXp provides if you decide to partner with us. So the training that they provide is over 70 hours every single week of new live training. And that's more than any of us can ever handle. But why do they have so much of it? Because look, we're all at different levels and they do a great, brilliant job at meeting us where we're at. So let's just say you're a new agent or you're struggling, maybe you took a break or something came up in life, you're struggling, which there's a lot of struggling agents out there right now. They got their Fast Cap program, which is a 6-week intensive group coaching program that's all about how to get 4 customers in the next 6 weeks. And all this training is included. It's all free. Yeah, right? When I say free, like we're paying for it through splits and fees, but it's not at an additional cost. or if you're a seasoned agent, want to scale and start building a team, or you want to get into, investments personally, or you want to get certified to go out there and become an REO foreclosure expert or a military relocation specialist, or get, certified in working with institutional investors, all these different trainings, all these different certifications happening each and every single week. And what I also love about it is because we are cloud-based, like everything's done online, everything's recorded, everything's uploaded to the university. So I don't know about you, but I'm busy, right? So like previous brokerages, like, okay, this training is going to be this Wednesday at 10 a.m. at this location. Well, number one, I'd have to have that time freed on my calendar. Number two, I'd have to drive, 30 minutes to that location. But then, hey, if I got $1 million client that needs to look at properties during that time, I'm going to go work with that client, right? So like during the day when a lot of these trainings were taking place, like I could never make them. Where over here, I still can't make them, but because they're done virtually online, they're recorded, uploaded, so I'm able to listen to them, while I'm getting ready in the morning, while I'm working out, while I'm driving. So I don't have to worry about missing out on those trainings. So it makes it great. Well, I mean, whether you're part-time, maybe you got a full-time job, or if you're just a busy, full-time realtor team leader like myself, right? Like you can always plug into these things. So world-class support, world-class training, and then the systems. I've never seen a brokerage personally. Now, your brokerage might offer all these systems. I've never been with one that's provided systems at this level, right? So we get, front end marketing, lead gen websites, robust back end CRMs, and we're the first big company that I have awareness of that's rolled out CRM of choice. I've been with other brokers in the past where they offer an option, right? Of whether that's for a fee or even if it's included, but you got one option. Well, what if agent A over here loves this option, but that option doesn't work for agent B? Maybe their business is ran differently. Maybe they're, I don't know, just every platform has different UI, different support, different ease of use. So at eXp, we have what's called CRM of choice, where you choose between KV Core, now called Bull Trail, but everybody still knows as a KV Core, Lofty, or a third option called close. So you can demo those and make that decision based on how you run your business, which option makes best for you. Like if my business is built off of relationships, networking, sphere of influence, past clients, okay, this option might be better than if I'm doing a lot of digital online marketing and, right, that I need, a great high converting front end lead gen website that I can also then add blogs and different things to with different squeeze pages, opt-in pages. So it gives you the choice to go out and pick the CRM and the website and the CRM system platform, the all-in-one platform that's best for you and for your business. So, we got CRM of choice, website CRM of choice. So that's, tool number one that they provide. Then we get Canva Pro AI. Now, I never use Canva. I know a lot of people do, and a lot of people pay for it, but we get it included here, Canva Pro AI, included for us. And for those of you that don't know what it is, man, now that I'm here and I'm using the hell out of it. Like I absolutely love it, right? It's a graphic design platform for non-graphic designers. You look at me, I'm so unartistic. I can't even draw a damn stick figure, but I can jump in there within seconds or within minutes, create beautiful social media graphics, YouTube thumbnails, flyers, presentations, so that's included. We get Sisu, which is just absolutely amazing. I never used Sisu before I got into eXp, but it's absolutely amazing when it comes to tracking, pipeline management. We use SkySlope, which is common. It's, I think, the biggest platform out there for turning in your transactions, but all the amazing, all the essential tools that we need to run and operate our business that if I were on my own would cost me maybe $600-800 a month based on that tech stack, are all included, right? So it's like, okay, amazing world-class support, amazing world-class training, amazing world-class systems that we're able to plug into out of the gate and not have to go out there and, buy those things on our own and do those things on our own to set us up for success. Okay, the fourth thing is the splits. Now, you might be able to go to a different brokerage and get better splits, super low flat fee, chop shop. But, there's an element of you get what you pay for in this business. Now, when I look at the splits, what I always look at is, because I'm not somebody that's obsessed with the splits. What I look at is, what's the value that I'm getting? And then what am I paying for that value? And I want the most value for the best price, right? And if I look at what eXp offers, there is no more, better value with everything that they provide with such lucrative splits. And then from there, what I love about the split model here at eXp, which is an 80-20 split till you cap it, till you pay in 16,000 and you're 100% for the rest of the calendar year. There's some other minimal fees in there, which, I've got broken down in other videos, but they're very minimal, like a $25 broker transaction review fee, $60 E&O fee. The E&O fee caps at $750. So there's some, tiny other minimal fees in there, but the big one is the 80-20 split till you pay in 16 grand. Well, it doesn't matter if I'm closing, let's just say I cap at 6 deals in my market. Well, if I'm closing 100 deals, dude, I'm at 100%, right? So the more that you produce, the more that you get to keep in your pocket here. And sometimes I'll have an agent that'll be like, oh, I'm at a flat fee, $595 a deal. Well, if you do the math on that, if you're doing 50 units a year, you're going to save a shit ton of money being at eXp. Now, if your goal is to close 5 transactions and only close 5 transactions for the rest of your entire career per year, then okay, yeah, you're probably going to save some money where you're currently at. But that's where you got to ask yourself, am I okay with staying here? Yeah, right. It's like, why do they make the desks so small in kindergarten? Because eventually you outgrow them. You're not meant to stay there forever. Yeah, right. So making sure though that you're looking at the full picture, like what am I getting from a value standpoint, from systems, training, support, all of those things. Like, so what am I getting from a value aspect versus what I'm paying? And where I look at the best value for the best splits, that's what I'm overall looking at. And when it comes to XP's value to cost equation, there's no better platform and model out there. And like I said, I am okay with a brokerage making money off me. I talk to so many agents that like don't want their brokers to make any money off them. I'm like, well, but then they'll complain about the training, the support. Oh, my broker is doing it for me. I'm like, yeah, because you don't want to pay them shit. Like they're running a business, they got to be profitable as well. If they're not profitable, they're not going to be in business. And you're going to have to find a new home anyways. Yeah, right. So I want a brokerage that's profitable, where they can reinvest in people and AI and tools and systems and all of these things for us. But I want them to be profitable at a point where it's a win for them, but it's also a win for me so I can be profitable. So again, when I look at eXp, I don't know another model where you're able to have better lucrative splits and keep more of your hard-earned working money, when you do that full equation that I talked about. Okay, so then from there, now those things, you might be like, hey, I'm at a brokerage that provides good training, good support, good systems, tools, got good splits. Okay, here's the differentiator though, right? My guess is EXP is going to be superior on those, but maybe I'm wrong, right? But then if we start looking at these other two things, because the gentleman that founded this model, created this model, one of his obsessions was, how do we make it again where everyone wins? Well, we can provide exit strategies for our real estate agents so they're not just that hamster on that wheel. How can we make everybody create the first ever agent-owned, agent-centric brokerage where everybody has the opportunity to develop equity in the company? We can be owners in the company to build wealth, but then also, through growth and support of helping the company grow, can build residual income so we can have that retirement plan that's willable to our kids and all of those different, willable to family members if something, God forbid, happens to you, those different things. So this is where stock and rev share come into play. So if you look at stocks, because eXp is a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ stock exchange, and none of the companies that are listed before ever gave me stock, right? And over here, we get free stock. Not only do I get awards, accolades, do I get my commission, when I do the math versus my previous brokerages, cost me a hell of a lot less here. So I'm able to save money with my production. But then from there on top of that, for free, I'm getting stock just given to me. And I love free, man. And I in the fact that we're able to build wealth through the stock, over time based on our production and based on our ability of helping the company grow is just amazing to me. It blows my mind that this is even an option. So eXp is a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ stock exchange. So you get free stock awarded to you for just doing what you're already doing. Plus, if you choose to help the company grow. So there's multiple different ways that you have to earn stock. So number one is through your production. So like when you do your first deal every year, you get $200 worth of stock when you do your first deal. Then every year when you cap, you get $400 worth of stock. Then if you get Icon, which is 20 transactions beyond your cap. So most markets, that's going to be, depending on your average price, between 25 and 30 deals a year. You can get your 16,000 cap back in stock options. So we're getting stock awarded to us for doing what we're already doing. Now, there is a match option if you want to. You don't have to do this. I don't do this. I'm not doing this yet personally. I probably should. And I just haven't, always forget to go in there and select the button in my Morgan Stanley account that eXp provides me. But you can do a match where you can choose to, if you want to set aside 5% of commission dollars to acquire stock at a 5% discount. So you can do that if you want to, right? The other way that you have to earn stock is, let's just say you have a friend that's thinking about getting into the business, or you have a friend in the industry that's thinking about joining, or that's just unhappy at their brokerage or thinking about making a move, and they reach out to you and they're like, hey, I'm unhappy at my brokerage. See you doing big things there. Are you happy where you're at? 100%. You should highly consider us, right? If you are the one that influenced their decision, because when anybody applies, they have to select the person that most influenced their decision to join, which they call the internal languages sponsor, but it's whoever influenced your decision to join. That when they name you, when they do their first deal, you get $400 worth of stock out of the first deal for helping the company grow. So if you look at this now, this year in my first 8 months, now I have not bought a cent of stock, but I've been awarded for free for doing what I've already been doing for the last 20 years. Right, I've made $10,297.65 as of right now today in stock awards. That's just free money. Yeah, right. That's going to compound year after year. So if I'm making, as this, goes, like I'm not planning on just only making $10,000 worth of stock, for 8 months. I mean, so if you do the math on that, that's what, over $1,000 a month. Plan on doing exponentially more than that, as I continue to grow with this. But it's like, hey, let's just say it's, that breaks down to $12,000 of stock every year that I'm getting. Well, then from there, after, I don't know, 10 years, 20 years, and as the stock grows, like that could turn into something good that I didn't have to buy. I didn't have to pay for. It was just given to me so it can help me set myself up and my family up for retirement so we can live a better life. Or again, the older that I get, the more I start thinking about it. I apologize to take this down a morbid path, but my 20s and 30s, I didn't think about these things. But now that I'm 43, I'm like, hey, what if something happens to me? Like, is my family still taken care of? Like, they're already going to be without their father, without their husband, but are they taken care of in the way that I want to take care of, like if I were to be here? And the answer for me to that was no. Like I needed to change that. I needed to do something different. Again, that question of if you continue doing what you're doing, what is it that you do not achieve? This is the first brokerage, the first model that I've been with where I'm like, hey, if I continue doing exactly what I'm doing day in and day out, I will 1000% achieve what it is that I want to achieve. Everywhere before, I wasn't able to answer that question the way I needed to be able to answer that question for my future. So then from there, the third way that we have to make money is through rev share. So we got through production, which is what we're all here to do, go out there and sell more homes. And if you look at, or at least most that are here are here to do, and eXp's done the best job at that, meaning that we outsell all the real estate companies by a far margin. Our second closest competitor sold 100,000 lesser homes than us last year. So we just dominate from a production aspect. So they've done a great job at recruiting, and attracting the best of the best, as well as helping us become the best of the best, develop into top of the top producers. So then we got stocks, which we just talked about. The third way is rev share. Now, rev share is so insanely valuable, whether you ever choose to take advantage of it or not. And the reason why it's so valuable is this is what allows me to provide you, if you decide to partner with me, like all those things I talked about earlier, you get with eXp regardless. But if you decide to partner with me, you get all my coaching, all my training, all my mentorship, my personal support, all 100% for free at no additional cost to you, as well as my business partner, Mike Sherrard, who's hands down the best in the industry at building your business through AI, growing your business through AI, social media, YouTube. You get all of our stuff, 400 hours in our online universities that you have 24/7 access to, 6 weekly live Zoom calls, our community groups, daily access, because we have a vested interest in growing, helping you grow your business. So how rev share works is eXp gives 50% of the revenue that they collect. So remember, it says 80-20 split till we pay in 16,000. They take 8,000 of that and they give it back to us agents for funding for helping grow the organization. And some people will come to me like, oh man, this is just like this freaking pyramid market. I'm like, no, it is, dude. Like, look, when we look at, and if you want to look at it that way, fine. Yeah, right. But the reality is this is 90 to 95% or more of agents that are brought into an organization come from referrals of other agents that are with that organization. We are the only industry where we hang out with our competitors. We got cross sales, we got all the trainings. Like we're hanging out with the competitors all day long. Like we're one of the only industries that does that. Yeah, right. And most of the growth, 90% plus of the growth of any brokerage comes from agent to agent referrals. So instead of going and paying some high, sales manager, recruiter, all this money, they're like, hey, let's just give that back to our agents. So if you ever bring in an agent that chooses to join this amazing organization because you're influenced, like instead of paying, that to corporate or keeping that money themselves, they give that money back to us. That allows us to create residual income, that allows another revenue center, and it's automatic. You don't have to pay in for it. You don't have to opt into it. If anybody ever joins because you're influenced, right? You automatically start receiving a little bit of the piece of the pie of everything that they close. And it goes 7 levels deep. This is why it gets the whole pyramid scheme name, because we're, it's set up like a network marketing, a company. Now we are a real estate company, not a network marketing company, but how the rev share is dispersed is in that way where it goes 7 levels deep. So you have a friend that's, unhappy at their brokerage. They decide to make the move because of your influence. Well, then boom, you're getting a little piece of the pie off everything that they close comes out of eXp's pocket, not out of their pocket, right? Then if they bring on a friend, then they bring on a friend, then they bring on a friend, then they bring on a friend, right? So it just starts to compound, where then that way you can start to, again, develop that residual income. So whether you're selling real estate or not, it allows you to create that financial freedom and that time freedom. Like the thing that's always frustrated me with real estate and growing a team kind of solved this, but not really. It's like even on vacations, dude, hours every day still working and whatever with that. It was like I could never really take a day off, really take a vacation. Like there's always something, always answering some element of email, always, under this model, it's like I can go disappear for a year if I want to. And still have money coming in, whether I'm working or not working, right? So it's just another revenue source that allows, it's the only model that I've seen that truly allows for time freedom, financial freedom, and location freedom. And it's interesting. When I talk to most real estate agents and I ask them, why'd you get into real estate? Well, man, I want time freedom and I want financial freedom. I want to be able to make more money or as much money as I want to make for me and my family, but I want freedom of my schedule, man. I want to own my time. Well, when we get into transactional real estate in the traditional way that real estate's always been done until this model existed, that was the only, like we had to, like we were resetting every month. Like you close some deals, boom, you get those paychecks. Now you're unemployed, right? That money's going to run out. Maybe you got a cushion in the bank, but you're having to burn through that cushion if you ever want to take time off. And then when you take 2 weeks off, then you come back and it's like, having to reprime the well. And it just always felt like a hamster in the wheel where this allows, for me to solve that problem. And again, whether it's something that you want to do, not want to do, it's still massive value for you because instead of having to come and pay me and Mike, tens of thousands of dollars a year for all the coaching and support that we offer, you're able to get all this included at no additional cost to you because we have a big vested interest in your success. So this is why, I always say that this should be called the everyone wins model because it's the first and only true everyone wins model they've ever seen out there. Now, when it comes to rev share, you might be wondering, well, Josh, you've been at this 8 months, like what does that look like for you so far? Okay, so month number one, I made $399. I'm looking at my dashboard here. So if you see my eyes look off, so I've got all this tracked on my dashboard. So I made $399.29 my first 30 days, right? So that was only 2 closings, right? That we got moved over, that closed in that first period of time that I was at eXp. Then the next month, that then shot up to $2,790.90, right? We had 10 transactions that got paid on that month. Then the third month, I did $8,895.32. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, dude. Like with that scale that I was starting to see, and understand, let me kind of do a disclaimer here. I've been building teams, building brokerages for a lot of years. So I have a lot of experience with recruiting. So I know how to recruit, right? So your journey might be a little bit slower than mine. Now, I'm not breaking records. There's people that have done much more than me. I mean, in 8 months, I brought on and attracted and recruited 305 agent partners from all over. And there's people that have done 1,000 in their first year. Yeah, right. So I'm not breaking records here. My goal is still 1,000 the first year. I got to figure out how to get 700 more in the next 4 months. We'll see if I hit it or not, but I'm going to do everything I can to hit it. But I'm not breaking records. However, look, I am intentional with this. I am investing a lot of time at this. Most of my day is spent on growing agent partners, attracting agent partners, and then coaching and supporting them. Right. So that's really my full-time gig, right? So you may not experience the same growth that I've experienced. So I don't want to, make this sound like I don't know, shell out something, give false hopes, right? When it comes to that. But, this is what I'm doing. So we know it's possible. And again, there's been people that have kicked my ass, at this as well. Okay. So, got to $8,800, almost $8,900. I'm like, hell yeah. Then it went down a little bit. Now I got a little discouraged, but I was like, okay, it's just how, you got ebbs and flows of production and, transaction count, whatever. So then the next month I did $6,747.72. The next month I did $6,742.66. So that was pretty close, off by about $5 differential. Then my 6th month. So the next following month I did $10,646. And then this last month, I did $16,379.57 that I received in rev share. Now, when you look at rev share, when I look at this, dude, it's like, pure margin. So I'm not having to, was able to get rid of my office building, ready, I mean, this isn't costing me any hard money. It's just costing me time and maybe a Zoom account that I'm going to have anyways, right? So it's not costing me any money, right? So it's margins, it's essentially 100% pure margins, at that point. Then I was doing the math. I was just curious to see like what this would take me to start making $16,000 a month residually, like in the stock market. So I did the equations on there, and you can go on and do financial calculators and whatever out there. It take me $4.9 million free and clear capital that I could park in the stock market to pay me out that residual monthly, kind of mailbox money of $16,000 a month. So now look at this. Now I've been at this for 20 years. I wasn't able to gain, to save $5 million free and clear my 20 years of doing real estate. So, okay, like again, answering that question that I shared with you earlier, if you continue doing what you are doing, what is it that you will not achieve? I'm like, hey, I'm not going to achieve the time freedom and financial freedom that I really want with the way that I was doing business previously. So then from there, okay, 8 months of put in some damn hard work, but it's cost me $0, just time. And essentially, right, the equivalent of that is, $5 million, if the 16,000 continues, but I'm adding more and more agents. It's just growing each month, right? So it's going to continue growing, from here. So I have 305 agents that I've sponsored, if you will, that I've been able to attract in my 7 levels in the 8 months that I've been here. So that's what it looks like from a stock aspect, a rev share aspect, with that. Okay, so then the next thing that I love about eXp that's been just mind blowing with the experience is the masterminding. And the masterminding really from two different components. So number one is the masterminding within my own organization. So if you look at our organization, we got about 2,800 in our organization. I have 305 in mine, but my sponsor Mike Schroard, he's got about 2,800. Just over 2,800. So there's 2,800 other brilliant, amazing minds from all over the globe that we're masterminding daily on. Yeah, right. Before I started recording this podcast, it's an hour-long mastermind. Pretty much, we do 6 live Zoom calls, masterminds. Plus, we got a mastermind group. Plus, we're always doing private calls with each other. So I'm always, just insane mastermind because we all want to see each other win. We all want to see each other grow. And I've just never been in an organization where I've experienced that. Yeah, I have with my team. But outside of that, I'd mastermind, we'd share some ideas, but it's like people would keep things a little close to heart, operate from a place of scarcity. Over here, it's just that abundance. Let's just all win together. But then even outside of my organization, I have not yet had anybody at eXp that I've reached out to be able to pick their brain that hasn't said yes, that hasn't taken an hour out of their busy day to pour into me, to help answer questions, whatever. And I think that that's twofold, right? Is number one, I think eXp just attracts those that operate from a place of abundance. But then number two, if we look at this from a kind of a selfish financial level, because we all become equity owners in the company, right? Because we're getting stock awards. Like even if somebody's not with my organization or my downline as they call it eXp, so not one of my agent partners where I'm not earning rev share, I still want to see them win massively. Now my personality is I want to see everybody win, even if they're not even with the same broker. Like no matter what, I want to see everybody win. But over here, it's like, okay, even if they're not with my organization, if they grow, okay, EXP's growing, stock's growing, all that's up. Like we all just win. Yeah, right. So with that whole masterminding, the place of abundance everybody operates from, like every single week I do a 2-hour mastermind for my agent partners on attraction. Most of our stuff is focused around production, but once a week I do a 2-hour mastermind focused just solely on, growing rev share. So through agent attraction, agent recruiting for those that want to kind of build a brokerage inside of a brokerage and be able to have that residual income built up over time. So they're not reliant on their transaction volume income. And with that, like every single week I bring in a guest speaker, and the vast majority of the guest speakers have not been with our group. And I asked them to, hey, come in, spend 2 hours with us, 90 minutes to 2 hours with us, breaking down everything that you've learned, everything that you've done, mistakes that you made, open up for open Q&A. I've yet to have anybody that says no to that. And these are people that have, 10,000 people in their organization. Yeah, right. Just crazy, massive organizations, right, where they don't get any benefit out of this because it's not with their organization. But I've yet to have anybody deny that time because it is a company of so much abundance, so much sharing, so many amazing masterminding. Now, the last thing that I'll share with you guys here, which is something that I wasn't anticipating. This was not in any of my previous videos or podcasts. This was not something that, I shouldn't say, I think I did create a podcast around this once it was released, but this wasn't anything that was, didn't exist when I joined. I had no idea that this was coming out, and I was ecstatic even before this came out. But now that this exists, I'm like, dude, this is outside of, Glenn just creating this beautiful, amazing model that exists. Outside of that, right, this is what I think is like the second best thing that they've done, right, which is co-sponsorship. This is massive, right? So before, historically, like when I was speaking with an agent, but maybe they were looking at me in all the coaching support that I could provide, but then they were looking at somebody else. Well, they had to make a decision, either join that agent or I join with Josh, right? Like you had to pick and choose one person that influenced your decision that's going to get the rev share off of you, that has that best interest in supporting coaching. So they had to make that decision. Well, now a co-sponsorship, you can add two. You can pick and choose two sponsors. So then let's just say I have somebody that maybe is newer, that maybe is in, an area state, they're newer to real estate. And I'm like, hey, look, I can get you from 1 deal a month to 2 deals a month to 4 deals a month to 10 deals a month to 50 deals a month, however big you want to scale this. Like I got you, I can get you dialed, and then I got it down to a science. But what I don't know is your local MLS. I don't know your local market. I don't know how to run comps on properties in your local market. I don't know, so then now maybe we get you with a seasoned, badass, amazing real estate agent that's with eXp in your local market. They can co-sponsor you where they now get the equal same amount of rev share, because like a lot of our competitors out there will just split the rev share. So then it gets diluted, it gets split. So maybe you don't get the same, they don't have the same vested interest in your success because they're getting half the money. Well, how eXp set this up is we all get the same full rev share. Yeah, right. When it comes to this. So now you got, it's like having two parents versus one parent and becomes really powerful. Now make sure when you're choosing sponsor and choosing co-sponsor, if you're thinking about this, or if you're at eXp and you're explaining this, that you're explaining it correctly. Because whoever the sponsor is, right? It's important to understand co-sponsor versus sponsor. The sponsor is the one that the rev share flows up. So like, let's just say as an example, you chose me as your sponsor, then you chose a co-sponsor. Now that co-sponsor is going to also get full rev share off of, anything that you do, so they have that best interest in supporting you. But then that rev share is going to go up to whoever sponsored them and so forth, right? So you can get anything that they offer, but you're not going to get anything that, somebody might offer above them. So if you choose me as a sponsor, okay, you get everything that I offer, plus my business partner, Mike Sherrard, offer, like you get all of everything, right? Versus if you chose me as a co-sponsor, now you get everything I offer, all my coaching, all my support, whatever, but you're not going to get Mike Sherrard, what Mike Sherrard offers, right? So you got to make sure that whoever the sponsors and the co-sponsors, that you're doing your due diligence on that to make sure that you got the best value stack, because all this exists. And I don't care, like if you choose me as sponsor, co-sponsor, I can tell everybody, I don't care. To me, it's all the same because I'm getting the same rev share. What matters is what type of support, coaching, training, mentorship do you need to accomplish your goals? Because that's all that matters. A brokerage exists for one reason only, which is, how can you get me from where I'm at to where I want to go? That is it. Like we don't work for the broker works for us, is the way that I see it. So same thing when you're choosing sponsors, think of them as like a broker. Yeah, right. Like they're not the broker, but they are a support system. And who you choose absolutely makes a difference and absolutely, matters, when it comes to that. So make sure that you're understanding that. But with the co-sponsorship, now it allows me to support my agents that I'm talking to and bringing on at a higher level because I can really assess. Okay, here's where you're at. Here's your immediate goals. Here's your long-term goals. What's your biggest obstacles? How do we set you up with the best support system in addition to what eXp offers to set you up for the most optimal success possible? And we're able to kind of put all the moving pieces together, to make that support. The last thing that I'll say here is, because I said this too, and it's a mistake, because I'm a very loyal person, which I know a lot of you are probably as well, but then I had to make that decision. Where does my loyalty lie? Yeah, I got this broker owner, right, that I want to be loyal to them. And, like we've had a great long-term relationship. Like I said, I'm not a hopper, like first brokerage 10 years, second brokerage 10 years, before I made this move here. So I had great relationships with them, but I had to look at where does my loyalty lie? What's my responsibility? Is my loyalty at the highest level to me, to my family, to my wife, to my kids, to my business, to my future growth, or to this other person, right? And that's where you got to make that decision, right? Because you got to make that best decision. What is best for you and for your business? And again, I'll just lead off or end off with this quote again, just to ask yourself, if you just continue doing what you are currently doing, what is it that you do not achieve? Like, is your brokerage truly going to get you? And I said this earlier, the biggest mistake I ever made was not thinking long term. Yeah, right. I was just thinking in the immediate 1 years, 2 years, 5 years. I wasn't thinking long term. I wasn't thinking exit strategy. I wasn't thinking about that. And the vast majority in this industry don't, right? That's why they're on the work till you die plan because they don't really think about these things methodically. So then I started breaking this down. I'm like, okay, the other choice is, okay, I go build my own brokerage, scale this up to like 20, 30,000 agents. So I have a big enough sellable product that can take that money, reinvest in free and clear real estate or reinvest it into, into the stock market where I can, have that nest egg and then pay myself the residuals I don't even pay, making. So I'm making at least, 100 plus grand a month, right, to have that true time freedom, location freedom. Now, but then is that possible? Sure. People have done it. Could I do it? Maybe. I don't know for sure, but I think I probably could, but then I had to be honest with myself. Of, do I want to? Do I want to put all the time, energy, headache into that and all the years, the grind and expose myself to all that liability? And the answer for me was no. Yeah, right. Like it didn't make sense to me when I could just plug into something over here for $85 a month, build a brokerage and a brokerage. I'm able to leverage out all the liability, all the risk, their 2,500, full-time staff members, their systems, let them run that where essentially I'm running 100% profit margin business where I'm able to focus on what I love doing, right. Which is coaching and training my agent partners to go out there and crush it with their personal business, with their teams, and help them grow and expand. So just, really thinking through that long term. And again, if you are interested in learning more about a partnership with me at eXp and would like to schedule a 100% confidential, 100% zero pressure Zoom call with me personally. So again, I'm just going to walk you, hey, here's everything eXp offers and does, how we work, how we operate. Here's all the additional free coaching, training support that you get from me, my business partner, Mike Sherrard. Answer any questions that you have. And then from there, if you think it's a fit for you, great. If not, that's okay too. Like I said earlier, the most expensive thing that you can own is a closed mind. My mind was closed for a lot of years to this model. Wish to God I would have been more open to it. Not telling you to make a move, just saying, hey, be open-minded enough to at least see if it's a possible fit for you. If it's something that you want to do, there's going to be a link below where you can schedule that Zoom call with me personally. We can jam out about that. And like I said, if you decide it's not fit for you, cool. We can still be friends. You have my word on that. All right, guys. Well, hope this was helpful. Keep crushing it. And I will do an update maybe after like 12 months. Maybe that'll be the next one. After a full year in, I'll do another update to keep you guys posted on what my journey's been like here at eXp. All right, guys. Keep up the amazing work, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.